What about this Belmont Stakes, a rematch for the ages coming up from Saratoga?
Oh, everybody's so excited for this race coming up. And the matchup that we didn't necessarily get in the Preakness, we're going to get in the Belmont. And, of course, you've got journalism, sovereignty. We've shown the side-by-side many times over, but also a couple of fresh contenders. Baeza, he's the one on the rise. Rodriguez could get the lead. Looking forward to it on Saturday.
Sovereignty took out this year's running of the Kentucky Derby. Journalism returns serve with that big win in the Preakness. Now the two foes meet in a field of 8 on Saturday afternoon from the Spa. We highlighted a couple of fresh faces on the scene. Baeza, Rodriguez looking to roll, returning with a fresh bill of health for trainer Bob Baffert as well. We've got a couple of long shots, big prices. Could be making up the numbers or could be looking to play spoiler. Journalism booked as the morning line favourite here, the 7 and 8 to 5, and certainly looks to have a bit of recency bias. At what point of the season is it going to catch up with journalism?
It could be on Saturday, and history tells us it probably should be on Saturday. It takes an exceptional horse to be able to run in the Derby and the Preakness and still fire your shot in the Belmont. American Pharoah did it. Justified did it. But the whole rest of the group in the last 12 years have not done it. So unless you're Justify or American Pharoah, you have not brought your A game to the Belmont. But journalism could be of that ilk. He's an absolute warrior, and he's not afraid of the competition.
Overcame a lot of adversity with that trip in the Preakness. Let's go back to this year's running of the Kentucky Derby. It was Sovereignty who soared late. We'll start from that 2 spot, sitting here at 2 to 1 for trainer Belmont. Skips the Preakness and now takes aim at Saratoga.
Another thing that was amazing about this effort, I feel like didn't get enough credit. To me, honestly, I feel like Junior Alvarado, health-wise, was about 75% when he won this. He had a fractured shoulder blade a month before the Derby, and his first doctor told him, all right, it's going to be 2 months. Then he got a second opinion from a doctor who said, you know what, if you work really hard at rehabbing, you could get back in maybe 3 weeks. He couldn't even move his arm 3 or 4 weeks before the Kentucky Derby, and he puts on a master class ride. So if you look at the races leading in, late at Keeneland, Derby week, Junior Alvarado was not scoring like he regularly does. So you got about 75 or 80% of Junior Alvarado. Now he's probably full health for the Belmont.
Known to be the test of a champion, usually ran at the distance of 1.5 miles. It will be at 1.25 miles out there at Saratoga. And Baeza could be the runner still improving. We'll start from that 6 hole and sits at 4 to 1.
I feel like he was hampered. It was very subtle, but he had a bad go into the final turn of the Kentucky Derby. He thought he was following journalism, but Sovereignty beat him to the spot. Then he had to duck to the inside. Then a horse veered out. Then he had to pump on the brakes. And with all that, he just missed journalism by a closing neck. So I think if he had a very seamless trip, he would have finished second in the Kentucky Derby and would look much different coming into this race.
There's a 50% chance of showers on Saturday afternoon. Let's take a look at Rodriguez. The 3 returns with the most rest across the field here. Had that slight bruise a little earlier in the season, was enough to not run in the Kentucky Derby, but well rested with plenty of upside for this one.
And they made it very seamless here to be able to go to the lead, to keep on going. We don't really have a gauge on this race, Dubs, because, of course, Rodriguez hasn't run back. And also Grande, who was pretty highly thought of, he also has not run back. So we did see Captain Cook come back with a pretty decent second. I mean, he finishes 4th in this race, but I think that they like their chances better before the long shot Crudo got put in. Because before Crudo, Rodriguez was on an island making the early lead. He's still probably going to make the lead, but should get some more pressure from the long shot Crudo.
They will be the 2 battling it out on the front end. Let's take a look at Crudo. And if you look at the field in, I guess, the betting numbers, Caleb, it tells us it really looks to be a 3-horse race, and then some massive long shots who are way up against it. Crudo projects to go forward on the pace, but can we be there late as a factor?
I mean, this horse is powered home at Keeneland and in the Sir Barton. The horse back there in the white silks, that's $1 million horse, Invictus. The horse, the 9, finished second to Pay Billy, who was the local horse that was in the Preakness, and 2 straight wins by big open margins. Joaquin Jaime talked with John Velasquez after this race, and Johnny V said Crudo was just looking around. He wasn't even focused in this race and won by 7+ lengths. So it's a very tall task to come from the Sir Barton to the Belmont, but at the very minimum, he's going to get his number called early and should be forward at 15 to 1.
And this is a track that can reward the front runners. Hill Road, the one sitting at 10 to 1. Irad Ortiz booked for the ride. What do we make of the chances for it?
Horse was training great into the Breeders' Cup. Ran a long shot third in that race. I think that he's got that ability to come along late. Irad Ortiz from the rail for Chad Brown. Love those connections. And the juvenile Dubs has not lived up to the billing. Citizen Bull didn't really go on. East Avenue's been disappointing. What happened to Chancellor McPatrick? Well, where are these horses? In the end, there's a chance that Hill Road might be the best horse out of last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Taking a look at one of the long shots from out wide, it's the 8 in Heart of Honor sitting at 30-1. We saw Heart of Honor run in the Preakness, really didn't have it on that occasion, but for the Osborne team, shows up with a big price. If you look at the wagering numbers, 11 of the last 25 have gone off at double digits in taking victory in the Belmont. So could Heart of Honor be the long shot flyer to watch out for?
I feel like this is an underrated trainer, Jamie Osborne. Jamie Osborne nearly won the Breeders' Cup Classic. He had a horse named Toast of New York, who was second to Bayern, who a lot of people thought should have been disqualified. If Bayern was disqualified in the 2014 Classic, Jamie Osborne would be a Breeders' Cup Classic winning trainer with Toast of New York. We know his daughter, Safi, is going to ride. The only problem here, he ran an okay race in the Preakness. He was wide, he finished 5th. But Randy Moss of the Beyer team, among many other things, he likes to kind of project a Beyer for these international races. His approximate Beyer for that UAE Derby was about an 83. So this horse does need to get faster, but I like the storyline, and I think the trainer is very powerful.
The International Radar taking aim at racing's third jewel of the Triple Crown coming up on Saturday afternoon. And if you're looking for a little further in-depth analysis, we've got you sorted coming up tomorrow, Thursday, right here on the FanDuel TV network. We've got the Belmont Handicappers preview show. I'll be joined by Simon Bray and Dave Weaver. We'll be taking a look at some of the big stakes races, notably here the Belmont Stakes with a couple of great unique angles, betting insights, and much, much more. That's coming up right here tomorrow at 12 Eastern.